You're in the mind of Tarantino.
Oh, this is weird. Can you tell me a story at least?
No, just hipster nostalgia.
Well, if you aren't gonna tell me a story, can you at least make it short and sweet so I can go do other stuff?
No.
Oh, I gotta sit here for 2.5 hours, huh?
Yes, it's awesome.
Cool. All right, well, I mean, at least the place looks cool.
Yeah, Brad Pitt's cool. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I mean, you're gonna have to really strap in. Have you ever heard of Charles Manson? Yeah, this is a very, very, very loose adaptation. Those motherfuckers were crazy. All those hipsters, they were over there doing some...
All right, well, I'm gonna leave. I don't think I like it here. I'm gonna retire or something.
Wait, where are you going? Wait, come on, man. This is cool.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the 9th film under the belt of the legendary director Quentin Tarantino. This movie also has an incredible cast. 2 legendary actors leading this thing at the helm, and Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's also accompanied by Margot Robbie, who may just be a schoolgirl crush for Quentin Tarantino, honestly. I hate these type of things. I hate these type of things where I know going in that I have a bias and I have to suspend that bias for the sake of me attempting to try to be a movie critic and a buffer for a lot of people out there who like to get second opinions on film. This is one of those type of things. Quentin Tarantino was kind of a hero of mine because he's somebody who was just a fan of movies and decided to make movies. He learned how to make movies by just simply watching movies. It's an art form that a lot of people don't really respect and seeing and doing. Making legendary films like Pulp Fiction, like Hateful Eight, like Inglourious Basterds, like Jackie Brown. You just know that this guy has a certain pedigree no matter what he does. But what did he do? He went and wrote an average script and made the damn thing. He actually made it. So let's talk about this story here. This story really makes me conflict with who I am as a Tarantino fan and who I am as a movie observer. You look at this thing and the story is everywhere. Now, you look at Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is not a guy who's just going to come up to you and just straight tell you a A to B narrative. He's going to give you 3 to 4 to 5 narratives with different characters that's exploring different themes about the human condition and humanity as a whole. He's masterful at this. He's masterful to the point where you're watching his movies 10 years after their release and you're still finding tidbits. You're still finding little small nuggets here that just shows you how much this guy's trying to say and how much he feels about society as a whole. You get a lot of criticism about this thing having no story. And you know what? It's kind of halfway true. The thing isn't a true plot-to-plot narrative. No, it's the same thing you always get with a Tarantino film, where it's kind of incidents fueling the plot. Now, this is just basic storytelling. Everybody knows that that's what happens, right? But with Quentin Tarantino movies, the incident starts from something that's very minute, from the wrong thing being said, the wrong thing being implied, the wrong thing being misunderstood that leads to these horrible incidents. He did that in here, but it just felt a little bit off because you never bought into any of the characters, including Brad Pitt, who was hands down the best character in this movie. Since I brought up Brad Pitt, let's get to the performances. He's probably going to be a lot better in that new sci-fi movie he got coming out with a name that I can't pronounce yet. I kind of got to do some research for that shit. Just always even keeled through the whole thing, and they let the story kind of carry him and kind of give him the depth instead of him bringing that to the character. Am I knocking Brad Pitt for that in any way, shape, or form? No. I kind of implied it at the beginning of this point. I really like Brad Pitt's performance, but damn, it was one that was kind of monotone at best. Yeah, let's use monotone. Leonardo DiCaprio, on the other hand, he had to bring a lot of range to a lot of nothing. His character was giving nothing, yet he was giving this great performance for a character that wasn't written really well at all. I can go into the symbolism of this, and it's the only way you can kind of get any meaning or any substance out of this, because that's really all he was giving you, but it wasn't enough in the overall story because it just wasn't interesting enough. Leonardo DiCaprio, as a character, as a performer, always suffered from that. Let's talk about Margot Robbie for a minute, shall we? 1 second. That about clears that up. Everything's better. One of the things that you really like about Quentin Tarantino is how much he trusts the story to carry his cinematography. It's basically a bunch of wide shots, a bunch of slow tracking shots, and that's pretty much it. The dude's dialogue is just so engaging that that's enough to keep you entrenched in some of his most intense and iconic scenes. That was another thing that was missing from this one. I'm just gonna kind of sweep under the rug his foot and leg fetish. I mean, I'm a leg man myself, but goddamn, I felt like I was the pervert. He spent a lot of time with shots, pans, and tilts that we really didn't need. A lot of times doing shots that wasn't contributing to his overall story, and it was really disappointing coming from one of the best directors out there. Let's talk about some strengths, because I guess this movie has some strengths. The movie could be funny in spots. There was some spots that, it's kind of funny. I kind of chuckled, but I can't believe that this thing was labeled as a comedy. That's kind of a comedy in itself. While I might have talked about how the script was killing a lot of performances, I won't lie, a lot of the performances was solid. Even Margot Robbie, her performance was solid. But goddamn, let's get her out of this story. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. What the hell was Timothy Olyphant doing here? While this movie had a lot of Tarantino-isms, when you leave this movie, this will feel like the least Tarantino experience that you could have asked for. A lot of actors showed up in this thing for Tarantino, but a lot of his signature actors didn't. That was also kind of disappointing. They could have maybe brought more of that Tarantino feel into this one, but this is probably one of those movies where the film buffs like me over time will gradually become more valuable. The same thing happened with Pulp Fiction, and honestly, with all of his movies, this is the closest thing to this when it comes down to vibe, style, and overall artistic integrity. With that being said, for any movie buffs out there, I would kind of recommend this one, but if anybody is a casual fan, and if anybody has went to see less than 10 movies this year, you might want to skip this one at all costs. So, let's get to the nitty gritty, shall we? This thing is sitting at an 84% with the critics and a 72% with the audience. Gotta side with the audience. This one was kind of easy, honestly. Sometimes I'm really surprised by the audience. When I first started, because I'm in all this stuff, I never took the audience seriously. But sometimes they really on point. I get this thing about a 70% at best. If you told me this thing was a 60%, I'd actually hear that out. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Tarantino has kind of done it again. No, this isn't the last we'll see of Tarantino, and thank God it isn't, but I get a feeling he'll probably be retiring soon. This seemed like a passion project that kind of got too much momentum, and here we are, a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Man, my name is Terrell. This has been a Better Late review on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. See you on the next one. What's up? My name is Terrell. If you look down at the views, you can tell I'm kind of new to this. So do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe. I got a lot of content going on. I host a podcast where I'm talking about a lot of this stuff in depth. Hey, give it a shot. What else we got to do? Let's talk movies.